The government just released its first big batch of UFO files, and buried in the pile is a typed memo that says, quote, "Witnesses reported crewmen who landed from the objects, 3.5 to 4 feet tall, wearing spacesuits and helmets," end quote. And while everyone's losing their minds about little spacemen, somebody on the internet looked at one of the released images and said, "That's not an alien. That's a biblically accurate angel." And then somebody else said, "Aliens aren't angels. Aliens are demons." And then somebody else said, "Aliens are real. They made us, and the Christian Bible is a cover-up." Today on Tinfoil Toons, we walk through what just got declassified: the angel theory, the demon theory, the they made us theory, and our own theory, which is honestly the only one that actually makes sense to us. Buckle up. This is the alien episode. Quick reminder, we don't tell you what to believe. We tell you what's been documented, what's been said, and where the line between coincidence and creepy actually sits. You can fact-check every detail in this episode in 2 minutes on Google, assuming Google still has humans on it. Tinfoil Toons, the UFO files, aliens, angels, and the Bible nobody told you about. Let's start with what actually happened. The U.S. government, after 70-plus years of saying nothing to see here, finally started releasing UFO files. Or as the official term goes now, UAP, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. They changed the name because UFO had too much, alien baggage. The first big batch of files included pilot reports, radar data, witness statements, some of them from senior military officers under oath, and one specific page, which is one of the images we're looking at right now, included the line, "Witnesses have reported seeing crewmen who landed from the objects." Crewmen, plural, 3.5 to 4 feet tall, wearing what appeared to be spacesuits and helmets. The document is real. It's typed on official letterhead. It has a file number, SF622927. You can pull it up right now. And the same memo references a guy named Arthur Edwards who wrote a book that predicted UFOs would soon make, quote, "an overt landing," and, quote, "deliberate contact with Earth." The memo treats this like a serious prediction, not a joke, not a sci-fi book review. Now, add to that the Pentagon's 2023 congressional hearings, where a former intelligence officer named David Grush testified under oath that the U.S. government has, quote, "non-human biologics," end quote, recovered from crashed craft. He said this in front of Congress, while being recorded, while facing perjury charges if he was lying, and nobody arrested him. Nobody discredited him. The Pentagon didn't even really deny it. They just said, "We can't comment on classified material," which, if you've ever lied to your mom, you know is the exact phrasing of someone who knows you got him. Okay, so if there's something in the sky, and it's not ours, and it's not Russia or China, then what is it? Theory 1. Biblically accurate angels. If you grew up Christian, you probably picture angels as pretty winged people with halos, like a guardian angel, like a Christmas card. That's not what the Bible actually describes, at all. The Bible describes angels as terrifying. Ezekiel chapter 1 describes a wheel inside a wheel, covered in eyes, glowing like burning coal, moving in any direction without turning. Every angel encounter in the Bible starts with the angel saying, quote, "Do not be afraid, because you absolutely should be." Now look at the UAP image that's circulating. The blurry sensor footage, the shape that everyone's calling a tic-tac or an orb. Some of those shapes are wheels, glowing, moving impossibly, changing direction without turning. Some of these descriptions match Ezekiel chapter 1, like word for word. So, the theory goes, we aren't seeing aliens. We're seeing angels. We always were. We just stopped being a culture that recognized them, so when one shows up now, we say spaceship instead of seraphim. Theory 2. They're not angels. They're demons. This one's a little darker. There's a small but vocal group of Christian researchers, including some pastors and ex-military, who genuinely believe UFOs are not extraterrestrial. They think they're interdimensional, and specifically, demonic. Their argument goes like this. Genesis chapter 6 describes, quote, sons of God, end quote, coming down to earth and breeding with humans, producing giants called the Nephilim. Some translations call them, quote, fallen ones, end quote. The theory is, they never stopped coming. They just changed their costume. And there's an interesting data point that demon theory people love. Reported alien abductions, allegedly, can be stopped by the victim saying the name Jesus out loud. Multiple researchers, including a Harvard psychiatrist named John Mack, documented these accounts. He wasn't a Christian apologist. He was just writing them down. Whether you buy that or not, the pattern is documented. And the demon theory says, of course it stops. Demons cannot stand that name. Aliens, supposedly, would have no reason to care. Theory 3. The spiciest one. The one that gets you banned from certain subreddits. Aliens are real. Aliens are physical. And aliens made us. They are our actual creators. And the Bible is a cover story written by ancient priests who didn't know any better. This idea got popular thanks to a writer named Erich von Däniken. 1968, he wrote a book called Chariots of the Gods, the thesis. Every ancient civilization on Earth describes gods coming down from the sky. Egypt, the Sumerians, the Mayans, the Aborigines, all of them. The same story. Sumerian tablets describe the Anunnaki, beings who came from the sky, who, quote, fashioned man from clay, end quote. Mayan codices describe star people. Egyptian hieroglyphs include things that just look like helmets and engines. The theory says, we didn't worship gods. We worshipped astronauts. And that's where it gets dangerous for organized religion. Because if it's true, then God isn't God. The angels aren't angels. The Bible is a translation error of an alien event. And every Sunday morning, half of America is praying to space biologists. Okay? 3 theories. Angels, demons, creators. They all kind of assume the same thing. That if aliens exist, then the Bible is wrong. Or aliens are evil. Or God isn't real. They all assume those things have to be in conflict. And that, to us, sounds kind of small? Here's our theory. 4th one. Free episode bonus track. What if aliens are real? And God is also real. And they're not in conflict at all. What if God just made more than one planet of people and gave each one their own version of the same story? Think about it. The Bible says God created the heavens, plural. The Bible says God's house has, quote, many rooms, end quote. The Bible says, quote, the earth, end quote. Not, quote, the only earth, end quote. We assumed we were the only ones because we're a little self-centered as a species. We are not the universe's main character. We might just be one campus. And in this version, aliens aren't above us. They aren't beneath us. They aren't trying to eat us or save us or replace us. They're just other students at the same school. Maybe they got their own commandments, their own prophets, their own Messiah, their own version of the story we're trying to figure out down here. If God is infinite, why would God only make one planet of one species and then never do that again? That's a really small God. The God in the Bible is not a small God. So why would the universe be small? Maybe the declassified files aren't a threat to faith. Maybe they're an upgrade to it. Maybe finding aliens isn't proof there's no God. Maybe it's proof there's a much bigger one. Maybe the little 4-foot crewmen the document talked about are not invaders, Not demons, not gods, just neighbors who finally figured out how to drop by. If you made it this far, subscribe, comment your theory, angel, demon, creator, or a fourth one we haven't said. Tell us. Tinfoil Toons out.